Good morning, Katie and Martin. I hope you're keeping cool on a warm day like this. Glad to hear it. Hey, it occurs to me that perhaps there have been times when the two of you didn't get along with one another. Katie says yes, Martin says no. Right there we have a little bit of a disagreement or a different interpretation of the facts. I was reading an article earlier this week about an interview former First Lady Michelle Obama gave to late night talk host Conan O'Brien. And in it she was talking about some of the difficulties that she faced being married to Barack. Now, it's not that there was anything specific about him, but rather she was referencing the fact that all couples at one time or another go through stress and conflict in their marriages. For that matter, all people at one time or another go through stress and conflict in their relationships. And so we have to wonder for ourselves how we go about dealing with those times. Once upon a time, there were two brothers. Their father had a large farm, and he told them that when he died, the land would be split between the two of them, and each would be able to have their own large farm. Well, the dad died, the land was split, and for a time the brothers got along very well. But then one day they had a disagreement about something. Tempers flared, and people said things that they didn't mean. As a result, the two brothers never spoke to each other after that. And there was great enmity between the two of them. I know, that's terrible, wasn't it? Well, one day, there was a knock at the door of one of the brothers' houses, and there stood a man who said that he was a carpenter who was currently unemployed, and he was wondering if this man had any work that he could do for him. And the first brother thought for a minute and said, yes, there's a pile of 2x4s out in back of my barn. I want you to haul them down to the creek, and I want you to build a high fence all along the creek that separates my property from my brother's. I don't ever want to see him or his house again. And after giving him further instruction, he told the man that he was going into town to run errands and would be back around sundown. When he returned that evening, to his astonishment, he found that the carpenter had not built a fence as he had been instructed to do, but rather had built a bridge across the creek. And as the first brother strode down to the creek to remonstrate the carpenter and find out why he had disobeyed him, who should come walking up from the other side but the second brother, who came across the bridge and said, I didn't think you and I would ever get together again. But when I saw that you were building a bridge to connect the two of us, I had to come to you and apologize for any hurt I may have caused, for anything I may have said in anger, because you are my brother and I have never stopped loving you. Well, it got mushy after that, and the two brothers hugged and embraced one another and had this happy reunion. And at that point, the first brother went on back up to his house, and the carpenter followed and said, I'm wondering if you have any more work. I'm sorry, take it back. The first brother turned to the carpenter and asked, would you be able to stay? Because I have other work that you could do. And the carpenter politely declined and said, no, I can't stay because I have other bridges that I need to build. And so it is that God says the same thing to us that was said thousands of years ago. Don't build walls and fences to keep people out. Instead, build bridges to let people in so that our relationships can grow. Let's pray. Dear Papa, we know it is your desire for us to live together in peace and harmony. Help us to love one another. Amen.